Hi guys, god, it feels like I've not done a video like this in ages. Guys, what is this heat, please? Someone explain to me. I should have brought a fan in here. But I'm hoping to not make this a massively long video, because you guys already have my long vlogs. My entire life, by the way, I've called them vlogs because it's just like vlogs. Oh no, it's not. Oh, because I used to think it was short for video logs, vlogs. I'm like, yeah, vlogs. I'm like, oh my god. Like, I tell my friend, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna start making vlogs, and I'm like, yeah, maybe learn how to say it first, and then then think about making one. Anyway, I'm gonna try and keep this short. This was a highly requested video. When I say highly, I mean about 2.5 people requested. I'm joking. How annoying is it when people are like, this was a high, like they've got like 14 followers, like this is a highly requested and it's like, chill the F out, please, thank you very much, please, thank you. And you know what's so interesting is, because you know I've got like 50,000 followers now on Instagram, so when I kind of put a question out there, I know the kind of response I receive. So when someone like it's not, sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's not, like it just depends what you're talking about. But for certain things, like, you know, whatever, suggestions, and you know it's not that much versus when people would like to cast their opinion. So when people like with like 1,000 followers are like, yeah, it's like highly request, like highly from who, bruv? like how many people? That's really evil, isn't it? I'm joking. I'm like so supportive of anyone starting anything like this, like YouTube and stuff like that. I really hope it's clear, because lately, if you've probably seen from my last 2 vlogs, I think, my camera is acting up. I don't know what's happened. Ever since actually Adam started vlogging with me, it started to blur for no reason. I just don't understand it. But yeah, so don't mind the artwork behind me, made using my lipsticks by my daughter. Saving it there for sentimental value, no jokes. I'm just too lazy to wipe it off. Just end up painting at the end. Like, isn't that what most people do that have children? Like, just forget about life, like with regards to walls and floors. Like, I've got nail polish on my floor, I've got everything. So what's the point of cleaning it, because it'll happen again? At least leave it there so there's no clean spot for them to go over. Like, she'll come there with a lipstick, she'll be like, oh no, I've already painted here, let me go actually, that's not really good, is it? It's okay, let me go somewhere else. Well, there is nowhere else. Everywhere else is like, my clothes are everywhere, so. But if she goes on my clothes, this bitch got me fucked up. No, I'm joking. Okay, so without digressing too much, gosh, I've missed you guys. Like, I've not made the video like this in ages. I've actually missed you guys. I miss talking, shedding my crappy wisdom on you guys about guys. But yeah, so the Vitz video, which was requested, highly requested by all 3 people, jokes. I'm joking, it was suggested by 1 or 2 or 3 people I know, and when I put it on a vote a while back, it got quite a few votes, so I thought, why not? And the video is what to say, well, you've probably already read the title, so you already know what I've been babbling on about. It's kind of like what kind of questions to ask on the first date, like what things are okay to talk about, what things are okay to ask, etc. Like, what are good questions to ask to kind of decipher whether or not this person is serious, etc, etc. Now, I don't know if I'm capable of actually going through every single question that one would ask, because everything is like go with the flow. Like, when you meet someone, like, there might be questions I tell you that it might not be like appropriate to ask depending on the situation you're in. Like, it just all depends, like, it's all subjective. Like, you have to kind of be kind of socially aware that you can kind of gauge the situation and kind of like work it out a bit and know what you can and cannot ask. Generally though, you know, if you're going on a first date, I think what a big mistake that a lot of girls do is they kind of say what they think will impress a guy. They'll ask what they think will impress a guy and not ask things that they think will make the guy run away. I mean, we've all done it. Like, if anyone says they haven't, they're lying. Like, you just don't say something just to not freak like, you don't talk about kids on the first day because you just don't want to freak the guy out. Like, chill. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm so cool, I don't care if we don't get married, I'm cool. I'm just like, go with the flow, you know? But I think what I've learned is from talking to, like, you know, guys, the issue with that is when you're not that honest at the start. Like, look, let's be real. When you're talking to a guy and you're getting to know a guy that you know, you physically like, you so far from what you can see, you like his, you know, personality, presumably you've been messaging before. Look at me, I just think I'm like literally boss man right now. You kind of, whether, like, if you've agreed to meet on a date, you like the way he looks like in photos, keyword photos, and B, you kind of roughly like his personality. I mean, if you don't like both those things, or you're not okay with either of those things, I mean, you really have to ask yourself, what are you doing? Why are you meeting up with this person? But I guess some people like to give people chances, because some people don't really always look good in photos, but the more likelihood than not is that people look better in the photo than they do in real life. So yeah, I don't know about that, but you could tell who's good looking and who's not, and who just has really good photos. Like, I already prepare, now I know kind of like what is really good photos, and I prepare myself to not get a very good looking person, and then vice versa. But I have been surprised sometimes. Pleasantly surprised with the catfish. Not the catfish, that stalker guy. Not stalker, what was he? The crazy guy. I don't want to talk more about it in case I like divulge a bit of detail that I didn't divulge last time. But anyway, so I guess I can divulge bits of detail like now as we continue like different vlogs, because they, like, what are the chances they're gonna watch all of them? Well, the craziness that I saw, I actually wouldn't put it past him. But anyway, Jesus Christ, I'm making myself hot. It'd just be easier for me just to pick myself up, go and get a fan. But would I do that? No. So lazy. My laziness will be the death of me, I'm telling you. Anyway, so that's what we will do. Anyway, if you've decided that you're meeting this guy, you, to some degree, you know, obviously you want it to see if it will go further, and eventually you want to result in marriage. Like, I find it very difficult to believe any Muslim girl, even non-Muslim, like, well, obviously maybe it's more maybe it's kind of more common in the Muslim culture, because obviously we can't really date for no reason. We need to date with a purpose, like they're headed somewhere. Whereas, you know, some people might not, you know, feel that way. But I think generally it's quite common in Muslim. Jesus Christ, it's so dusty. I am going to stop this because I literally keep getting distracted. I think I've got ADHD, I'm pretty sure I do. If anyone wants to hook me up with Adderall, just saying. I'm joking. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Anyways, I feel like Adderall actually like fix my life, fix my procrastination on a different level. But anyway, so back to what we're talking about. You know, it's quite common that, you know, when Muslim girls talk to guys, generally they're wanting it to eventually head somewhere. No one ever talks to a guy without wanting it, if they like the guy obviously and if things work out, without wanting it to head somewhere. So, although I have actually heard stories from guys on these apps, how some girls, Muslim girls, literally just contact them for sex. I'm just like, how did you work that one? How did you work that one out? Like, just go on Tinder, bro. Like, don't fucking like embarrass yourself, and like, Jesus Christ, like, why would you even do that? Like, I'm sure there are guys that do want that, but like, imagine hearing from a guy. I was talking to a guy and he was like, I just want something serious. Like, what? The roles are reversed, guys. Like, this guy's telling me like I'm not a piece of meat, man. I'm like, I hear you, sister. But anyway, back to the point. So we all kind of want it to eventually lead to marriage. So the problem with us is that we don't want to say, with some girls, is you don't want to kind of say stuff that you think are going to freak them out. Like, you don't want to talk about marriage on the first day, and we all do that. Like, I'm sure we all do that. My advice is to, anything you really want to know, anything that's like a deal breaker to you, you should ask. Like, don't be afraid of like not asking it. So if you want to ask, like, you know, like for instance me, what I would ask on a first date, my situation, I'd be literally straight up, how would your family feel about you marrying a single mother? Straight up. Because the problem is, when you don't ask those questions because you're worried about the person changing their mind about you and be like, oh no, she's too much, chances are the person that thinks that is gonna mess you over anyway. Like, that person isn't gonna be serious. That person just kind of wants to mess about. When they hear, generally, you kind of scare off a big majority of duck boys with this kind of like directness. And you know, just basically saying what you feel. Like if something doesn't make sense, just call it out. Like, sorry, what do you mean by that? That doesn't make sense. Oh, that's a bit awkward. Like, is that what you do? That's a bit, like, I'm literally like that with guys. And what I found is, yeah, it's gonna make a couple of guys drop off the radar, but those are the guys that you want to drop off the radar to not mess yourself up. Like, the ones that kind of do stay past that are the ones that actually, they have some level of seriousness. But this is not like a black and white. Some duck boys will still stay for this. Like, they just thrive on this. Like, oh my gosh, she's serious. I'm going to literally just strip her of her hopes. I'm going to make her think that I'm serious and then just strip her of her hopes. But do you know what it is? I know a lot of people, like, they experience guys that lie, okay? In my experience, I've actually, despite the fact that I've actually spoken to many, many duck boys, I've never ever experienced a guy that's actually lied to me to my face. Like, straight up lie. What guys will do is they'll be very kind of like grey about answers. You won't ever know where you fully stand, like with an answer that they give you. That's what duck boys do. But they don't actually lie to your face. Like, if they're not willing to marry you, generally they're not going to be like, yeah, like a guy who can't marry a single mother will, like, it's very rare. I mean, if you find someone like that, literally a sociopath, like your luck is really, really not on the up, is it? But generally they won't actually lie to your face and say yeah, I will. They won't, because they know once someone says that, like, you kind of up the ante a bit with regards to how, like, the relationship goes, because now you've got expectations. So, you know, you can't act a certain way, because if you are actually looking for me to be your wife, then, you know. So most guys won't actually lie about that, because they still want to kind of give themselves that leeway. But what they will do is they kind of, like, you know, like, pussyfoot around issues like that. When you kind of come across a guy like that, don't be afraid to kind of just say, like, what do you mean? Like, you know, like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine with it, but, you know, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Like, you either know or you're not. And when I say you either know, like, you know yourself. Like, if they said no, would you kind of fight it? And, like, would at the risk of kind of having them, like, not speak to you for a while, would you kind of, like, don't be freaking afraid to, like, ask or stuff like that. I know people won't agree with this. I'm not saying go that far either. I don't know how we got into this topic, but don't, look, the point of the story is don't be afraid to ask. Anything that you want to know, don't be afraid to ask. Don't ever think, what is he going to think of me? He's going to think I'm too much on the first date. Mate, you're a Muslim girl. Okay? It's not like you don't even have a choice in the matter. This thing, if you're going to pursue it, it has to lead to marriage. So, I don't care. Like, literally, like I said to you, if you're worried about a guy dropping off the radar, when you start dropping questions like that, you need to drop. That's the biggest need for you, to drop questions like that, because you want to drop that guy off the radar. Because if you don't, you're going to lie to yourself thinking this guy is serious. Something's going to go further with this guy, and it might really might not. So, questions. I'm going to try and, like, gather some questions that I would want to know on the first date. Like, in my situation, obviously I've got a kid. I'd want to know, how would your family react to you being, you know, being with a single mother, or marrying. I always use words like marrying, not being with, marrying a single mother. You know, and they were like, oh yeah, you know, it should be fine. I was like, oh, okay, because you're unmarried, like, you've never been married before. You're sure that you're, like, their only son? Like, I literally, I wouldn't just, like, take that. I'd, like, have, like, a discussion with them, like, because that's kind of weird, because you're, like, their only son, and, like, you've never been married before. Like, most mothers would kind of want their, you know, son to be with, like, a virgin or whatever, like, not someone who's popped a baby out, like, let's be honest. So I literally, like, kind of, like, give and take on, you know, all questions. So that's one question, and that could kind of also work for culture. If you're a different culture from the person you're talking to, you ask, like, how would you feel? And I would strongly actually, side note, because I've seen this happen a lot, I would strongly, if you're an Asian girl, I would strongly be very wary. I would be very wary when talking to an Arab guy. Because generally what I've seen happen time and time again, I'm really not generalising here, I've seen it happen time and time again. A guy is with an Asian girl, you know, for the longest time, and they're literally ride or die. You look at them, they're in love, like, actually in love. And not even just Asian, other cultures as well. But I don't know why, but Arabs seem to be, you know, with marriage, you get more marriages into like kind of like more European white ethnicities from an Arab than you would with Asian. But what I would like to say, because like, I feel like it's my duty, because I'm Arab and girls are all girls and girls shouldn't equally be treated with respect, what I've seen is they generally won't end up wifeying. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does, but it's very, very rare. Like, I've not seen it happen much. I've seen it happen, but not much. What I've seen more is guys being with girls for years, and I'm telling you, years. Like, you could literally look at this guy thinking he's like, you guys are like literally hubby, he's your hubby, you're his wifey. Like, that's it. Like, to the point that you don't mind going out and being seen with this guy because that's how sure you are that things are going to work out. Oh god, I just put lipstick on my chin. Oh, and my nose. This is me. This is literally me. Lipstick all over my face. Guys, can we just take a moment to appreciate? I've got literally just face makeup on. On my eyes, all I've done is I've drawn a line. There. Like, not even on top. This is all lashes. And my lips, as you guys know. Gosh, best thing I ever did. Anyways, back to what I was saying. What they generally do is like, you'd be okay with being seen out with them. That's how sure you are that this guy is like serious about you. And in the end, he just will literally turn around and say, I can't, my family won't let me. And I tried, whatever, even if they didn't try. So, you know, be really like, really ask those questions when it comes to culture. Like, how do they feel about, you know, you marrying out of your culture? How do they feel like, etc. Like, you have to ask these questions. Do not be afraid to ask these questions. Other questions I would ask 100% is, what do you do? If you haven't already got that, you really should know. If by that point you don't know, like, I would not meet a guy not knowing what he does, because why am I going to waste my time? Why am I going to waste my time? I'm not going to go and waste my time and effort, get there and he's unemployed. Why would I do that? Or employed in something that I'm not cool with. So you need to find out exactly, like, these are questions that you can ask. Oh, let's just kind of like put it under one umbrella. Questions that you ask before meeting and on the first date, or before and on the first date kind of thing. So you want to know 100% what he does for a living. But I think the important thing to do with this is to be very tactful with it. You don't want to like find yourself a millionaire and then just because you ask the question really early on, he just literally writes you off because he thinks you're a gold digger. Like, let's try and keep the millionaires, man. Not that you'll find them like literally much minder. Like, finding a millionaire is just kind of like zero right now. I've come across quite a few people that are well off. When I say millionaire, I mean well off. Let's not actual millionaire, but like well off. Like you can see yourself. Yeah, I'll have a comfortable life over there, like 100%. But anyway, so you want to be very tactful with how you ask about what he does. So it's not the first question you ask, not the second or the third. Just kind of let the conversation flow. Generally, the minute they ask me what I do, I throw the question back. Some people ask it quite early on. What do you do? So what do you do with your free time? Or what do you do? I'm like, oh, I do this, this, this. So what do you do? Etc. Okay? Or another way you could kind of bring it in is if they say business owner. Sometimes you see on Mismatch, business owner. Basically unemployed. Basically selling weed. No, I'm joking. When you see something like that, you can't really tell what it means. Like, some people are like business owner, some people are like manager, something like whatever it is. It doesn't tell you what they're a manager of, or you're a manager of like a hedge fund, or are you a manager of like McDonald's? Like, what are you? I'm not saying anything is bad, but I'm just saying it's just so you know. Okay? Some girls might not be okay with this, or etc. So you could kind of use that as a point of conversation, like, oh, you're a manager, like, what do you manage, and blah blah blah, like something like very kind of like, you know, like go with the flow kind of thing. Do not fixate on it, and if you want to know more about it and you feel like the person isn't giving that much information, then maybe kind of like kick back a bit and like let it come up in conversation again through a different kind of avenue. Okay, what else would I ask? Age obviously is a must, but usually they have the ages there. So that's not really a question, is it? But this is obviously if you just meet people like through Instagram or whatever as well. You know, where do you live? Like, what, do you live with your family? Do you live on your own? Like, what like that situation. Obviously, if you live with your family, then you know it's a bit more kind of, it's going to take a bit longer for that process possibly. You know, even if you guys connect, it, you know, taking it to the next level will take a bit longer, because obviously you have to find a place, you have to like wait till you're kind of like in a position to be able to kind of afford, you know, moving out on your own, etc. Not you, I mean, when I say you, I mean him. Whereas if he lives on his own, you kind of know that he's kind of stable to some degree, because he's got his own bills, he's got his own rent, etc. that he's covering, which is also a good, you know, it's a good indication that he'll be able to look after you and your family, like you, not you and your mother and father and all, but I mean you and your immediate family. Well, he should anyways. In like later years, you want to find a guy like that you'd look after both sets of parents, if that makes sense. Anyway, so yeah, so that would be another question. Do you drive? I always ask, do you drive? That's really important to me. I can't really be with a guy that can't drive. I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it. I mean, I could be with someone who could drive but doesn't have a car at the moment, although I would be kind of put off. But I wouldn't, I don't care what anyone says. Everyone could say, I'm so shallow, or I'm like so up myself, or whatever. I'm sorry, it's just literally convenience and logistics and what works and what's practical. Having a guy with no car, I have a daughter, it's not practical. Like, can you imagine? Like, I'm sorry, I find it, but it's the same thing, the same concept of like the paying issue. You know, when a guy doesn't pay for you when you go out for a meal, whatever, coffee, whatever it is, like, it just says something about his character. The driving thing, not so much. He might literally just genuinely not, you know, have the funds to buy whatever, but you can ascertain if someone genuinely can't, or if someone's spending their money elsewhere and they don't think it's that important. Like, for a guy, like, that should be an important thing. They should put money aside for it. But understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying if they can't afford it, obviously that's a different issue. But then again, do you want to be with someone who's, you know, at that point where they can't even afford a car? Like, how are they going to be ready for marriage? I'm talking if you're in my age kind of thing, because obviously if you're a bit younger, then the situation is different. They might be in uni, they don't need a car, etc., and they're still young, they're starting off with their life. You guys can kind of build the life together. But if they're around my age bracket, which is like 25, 26, 27, 28 and upwards, really upwards, you kind of do expect a man to have a car at that stage. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, so it's the same concept. I'd like to be driven around by my man. And I don't really agree so much with these girls that their man doesn't have a car and he drives their car around. I just find it just a bit, it just takes away from the masculinity a bit. Some people might be okay with that, I'm not. So for me, it's important that you drive. As an adult, like, it's important that you drive, especially like, you know, again, people might not agree, but I really don't care. I'm not here to make you agree, I'm just giving you what I ask, so you can get some ideas. And you might not want to use that one if you're okay with a guy not driving, but that's me. I need the guy to drive. So I'll ask him what he drives. Not what he drives. I'd like to ask him what he drives. That's important as well. But he can't do that. I think that's me verging on like proper materialistic, but depends. If he's just shit everywhere else, I'll start looking at his car like, yeah, I'll give you a chance. I'm joking. Back to the thing. You ask, how long have you been here? If the guy's not been here for a long time, I always ask that one. Generally, when guys speaking to me in messed up English with crap grammar, crap English, crap everything, I always ask straight up, how long have you been here? Like, I literally don't care. I think one guy turned around and said to me, why would you ask me that? Because your English is crap, bruv. Like, why else? Like, literally, you need to know, do you have a passport? Yeah, I think when you talk to quite a few guys on these apps, you kind of start to become a bit ruthless. I think that's the way to be. Because then you kind of clear the bullshit really quickly. Yeah, you think that you're removing all the potentials, but actually you're removing all the potentials that wouldn't have materialised into anything anyway. So, yeah, that's it. What else? What else? How long is this video? Raw, 25 minutes. Probably gonna cut it down, but still. But yeah, just to kind of like sum up really, I don't know if I've given you guys enough questions, but that's the kind of stuff, like, once you know that you shouldn't be afraid of what you ask, once you reach that point, then I think the questions will come to you. Just whatever's important to you ask. Me, cars are important. Like driving is important. I'll ask that question. For you, it might not be. You know, education might be important for someone. So what did you study in uni? Did you go uni? I wouldn't ask that. I would find that out early on. But yeah. Update, by the way, guys, on the freshie. He messages, oh, my friend messaged me the next day. She goes to me, oh, he's still in hospital. It might be really serious. I was like, okay. I'll message again. I was like, hey, what's happened? What does he reply to me? I beg you. I'm going to try and show you the picture without showing you the face. I cringed. Like, seriously, anyone who sends you a picture like this, you need to write that shit off. Like, actually write this shit off. Like, what you see, like, you like looking for like, oh my god, I can't deal. I cannot deal. I can actually not deal. One second, let me find this picture. This damn photo, man. I'm not going to show it to you, but I'll tell you what it is, because I'm pretty sure people that know him follow me, because he once told me, oh, I found out that, you know, you are who you are because someone came up to me like, oh, I saw you in Bamboo because I was filming like the, you know, the Charbi, the Iraqi dance, and he was in the video and someone had gone up to him and said, oh my god, I saw you in this girl snap. Anyways, so I wasn't actually filming him specifically, I was filming the entire, like, the chain of dancing chain, whatever it's called. I don't know how to explain it in English, but it's like a group, like a group of people, they're all side by side and they just dance. It's called Charbi, we call it Charbi. Lebanese people call it Debcare, etc, etc. Anyways, I said to him, how are you? In Arabic, obviously I had to type because my man does not speak a word of friggin' English. Barely a word. He sent me a picture of him lying on a hospital bed like this with like some injection thing or whatever it is, or the thing that puts medicine in your arm, I can't remember what it's called. On his arm he was like this. From time anyone takes a picture of themselves in a hospital like that, like, you friggin', I know it's really evil, but you friggin' deserve to be, like, seriously, you're just automatically not ill anymore. Like, it's not that deep. If you're, imagine someone who's like actually really like, I don't know, I don't want to say that because he could be ill, whatever, like, obviously still his kidneys, it's not like a minor issue, but sending a picture of yourself like in the bed like this, with your hand out like that, I'm sorry, I could not deal with that. I was like, at least she didn't even reply. And he called me. He goes, hey, I was like, hi, how are things? And he's like, good, I'm just doing, you know, tests and stuff like that. I was like, okay. He goes, oh, you sound like you've just woken up. I was like, because I have. And he goes, you sound like you're sleeping. I was like, because I am. I was literally, like, talking to him. I was like, yeah, I am. I'm sleeping. He goes, oh, okay, then I'll talk to you another time. I was like, okay. Then he messaged me. He goes, hey, are you upset with me or something? All in Arabic. All in Arabic. I was like, no, of course not. I was like, no, wallah, I'm not. And that's the actual truth. I'm not upset with this person. Like, I do not care to be upset. Like, this person, I was just trying to find a reason to write this person off. And I found it with the age thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch the end of my last vlog. Vlog number 12, I think. So I was like, of course not, wallah. And he goes, oh, okay, because I feel like, I hope I haven't upset you. I hope I haven't said anything to upset you or done anything to upset you. And if I have, then I'm sorry. That's it. I didn't reply. Well, there's nothing to reply. I was like, my friend was like to me, why are you ignoring him? I was like, there's nothing to reply. Why would you even need to reply? Replying would continue a conversation. I do not want to continue a conversation with this person. Bro, like, I'm even angry at myself. I actually went on that double date thing. Like, ew. Ew. Anyway, my friend's trying to also rope me into, like, going out with them again as friends because she likes the other guy. I'm just like, I wouldn't even do that for myself. Like, if I knew that this person, like, I wouldn't even do that for myself, bro. Like, I'm just so cringed out by that guy. Like, so, I don't care. People are like, oh, why are you so up yourself, like, talking about him like he's a freshie or whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been educated in this country. I cannot be, like, mentality-wise, I cannot be with a freshie. And this is why. Because I would not be with a guy who sends me a picture of him in a hospital bed like this. when I'm like to him, how are things? I wouldn't be with that person. I'm sorry. If you think that's me, like, I think I'm like better than most people, I don't. Just think I'm better than it. No, no. I just think I'm too, like, I'm not in his, we're not in the same lane, basically. We're not. We're not. I'm sorry, we're not. I'm sorry, I'm like, literally, I might even sound like a bitch like that. You probably sound like a bitch right now, but I really don't care. So if you don't want the best for yourself, and if you sell and you know you're selling, well, what kind of person are you? Like, how much do you love yourself? You must really hate yourself. And I did say, specifically, if he's a freshie, I would give him a chance if he was ambitious and successful, basically rich. No, because then you know he's gotten by in life. Like, he can get by in life. I don't want a guy that I'm going to have to look after. That is what would have happened with this guy. Like, a successful guy, not because of his money, but it means with his language barriers, he was still able to make something of himself. Like, that is important. You know, it is what it is. I think, I just want to know, all I remember is a comment like that in the last video. Why aren't you, like, you think you're better than freshies? Because I'm freaking out. Jokes. I'll probably be the same if I go to Iraq or something. I'd be the freshie. Jokes, I wouldn't. They'll all jump on that shit. But yeah, like, whatever. I'm not saying I'm better than him as a human being. I'm just saying we're not compatible at all. Like, not in even the slightest. Bro, how am I going to be with a guy? I'm like to him, how are you doing? He sends me a picture of him in hospital. How? How can any girl be with a guy like that? Ew. 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 Like, man the F up. Like, seriously. Ew. Anyway, so... Oh my god, I'm so hot, guys. Can you see? I'm like, literally... I'm gonna go now, because I think I babbled on way too much. Thank you for watching, as always. I'm gonna try and edit this now. Like, shooting out content for you guys. Like, a video every 2 days. I'm so obsessed with my lips. I can't. I actually can't. Also, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to also comment me any questions or any, like, video ideas that you want to do or, like, whatever. Anything. Comments below. Bye.